What is going on, guys? Dino Bam Bam here with the Ten7 MMA. Happy to be back in your lives with another edition of the UFC Quickie. Now, if you're new to this program, what we do here is very simple, and it's in the name, the UFC Quickie. I go through the entire card. I give you a little info about fighter A, a little info about fighter B. I give you my pick. We move on. The whole thing's meant to be really goddamn quick. It's meant to be not that informative, right? I just give you my opinions, I give you my pick, and we go. If you're looking for something more in-depth, do like the thing at the bottom says. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be dropping a ton of UFC 323 content this week, including the live stream, which a lot of you guys love, with me, DS. Of course, we're going to have Dana Black, famous from Instagram and TikTok and all that. We're going to have Harry from Proshmo Bets. We might have the Toad. We might have Lethal. Who knows? MMA Joey's dropped in before. A lot of people come to the live streams. It's a great time. So like and subscribe if you're looking forward to that. Also, help us get to 2,000, man. It's been our goal to get to 2,000 by the end of this year. It's December 1st. We got 31 days to get there. It would mean the absolute world to me and DS to be able to get to 2,000 before the year ends. Also, follow us on Instagram at the Ten7 MMA. Like, where is it? Now the thing at the bottom says, okay? On there, we are number one, guys. We are number one in the Creator Challenge pick thing that we got going on. There's about 20 creators on there. Me and DS, the Ten7 MMA, the most accurate picks, the most accurate. We're beating everybody. We're beating everybody's ass. We don't ask for Patreons. We don't ask for donations. We don't got any of that shit going on here. We give you the picks. We do it for free. We do it for the love of the game. So hook your boys up with a follow on Instagram, and then, again, more importantly, like and subscribe. It would mean the world to us to get to 2K. Let's not waste time, guys. Let's get into UFC 323. I hope you guys like this new layout where I got the fights going on right here. Pretty badass, but let's scroll down. Let's scroll down to the first fight of the night. We've got Muhammad Naimov, and he has taken on Myron Santos. Guys, Muhammad Naimov, explosive, powerful, always dangerous when he blitzes, but he can be outpointed, and we've seen it happen a ton of times. He's taken on Myron Santos, the Ultimate Fighter winner. Long, composed, high-volume striker. Fights very smart, keeps his range and distance well, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing for him here. Staying long, staying at range, avoiding the massive exchanges, winning the cleaner exchanges, and then just kind of showing that he's edging out these rounds. So I like Myron Santos a lot here, guys. Give me Myron Santos by decision. We move on. Next fight of the night, we've got Merab Dvalishvili, and he has taken on Mr. Mackenzie Dern himself, or former Mr. Mackenzie Dern himself, Antonio Trocoli. Minus 1,000, guys. Minus 1,000, the odds on this fight. Merab Dvalishvili is fast. He is sharp. He's aggressive. He's got clean boxing. He's super goddamn athletic. He's young. When he starts flowing, this guy just pours on the damage, and it is a sight to behold. That last fight, a little bit weird with friend of the channel, Cody Brundage. Shout out, Mr. Brundage. But yeah, Merab Dvalishvili looks like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. He's taking on Antonio Trocoli. Huge frame for the division, right? But really slow, predictable, struggles defensively. He's hittable. Merab Dvalishvili all day on the money line, minus 1,000. I don't know that I'd be betting this fight, to be honest with you. He should get the finish. The guy's impressive. He's going to pour it on until the referee stops this fight. I like Merab Dvalishvili in this one. We move on. We've got the new Polish guy, Iwo Baranuski, and he's taking on Ibo Aslan, Turkish Power. We got Iwo versus Ibo. Look, Ibo Aslan, massive power, guys, super goddamn aggressive, but we've seen lately that the guy is hittable. He can be very reckless, and it looks like beyond that crazy power that he has, there's not really many layers to Ibo Aslan's game. So I don't necessarily think he's going to be a guy that's going to reach far into the rankings. I think he's just going to be a guy that the UFC keeps around. He's going to be entertaining, especially for those cards when we do go to the Middle East. This is a guy that they're going to like. I'm just not too impressed with him. On the other side, these guys that Joanna Jędrzejczyk is bringing in from Poland seem to be pretty goddamn good. The 1-0 record is wrong. I believe he's 5-0. But yeah, he's cleaner. He's more collected. He's more patient. He's undefeated for a reason. Guys, he has more wrestling than Ibo Aslan, and I think that's going to be the biggest difference in this fight. I think Baranuski is going to use the takedowns. I think he's going to sap the energy of Ibo Aslan, who's way more dangerous early than he is late. I think he just uses the wrestling, uses the clinch, uses some cage control to sap this guy's energy. and eventually wins the game. I mean, he wins the fight. He has more ways to win this fight, right? Ibo Aslan, it's a nuke. Baranowski has many more options, guys. That's why I'm taking him. I'm going by decision. Give me the newcomer. We move on to a very interesting fight. The returning Jalen Turner versus the veteran Edson Barbosa Jr. Guys, Edson Barbosa is a legend, right? Still dangerous. The kicks are still lethal. We did see him live at UFC Chicago. That one was kind of a stinker, but his durability and his speed are kind of waning at this point in his career, right? And to me, that's not great. I don't love that for him. If he's forced backwards, we've seen this historically that his offense drops off. And now, as he's getting older, we're seeing it more, right? And he's taking on Jalen Turner, the returning Jalen Turner, who had retired, right? We all knew that was kind of bullshit. He's back. Just a long fighter, very fast, very explosive, going to be rangier than Edson Barbosa, which is rare for Junior to see. But once Jalen Turner finds his range, he overwhelms these guys. And a veteran of Edson Barbosa's stature, of his level, shouldn't be overwhelmed by Jalen Turner. But I just think that speed difference at this point in his career is just going to be too much. Risky pick because we don't know why Jalen Turner's coming back, right? If Jalen Turner's locked in and this is the Jalen Turner of old and he's committed and he's ready to make another run at it, it's Jalen Turner all day. If it's just Jalen Turner looking for a paycheck, it could be Barbosa. So tough fight to pick. I'll stick with Jalen Turner. I'm not stupidly confident. I think he gets Barbosa out of there late. We move on. Marvin Vettori, guys, he's back and he has taken on Bruno Ferreira. Such an interesting matchup because when you look at this, it's really goddamn simple, right? Bruno Ferreira, an absolute finisher, explosive, dangerous as hell early, but very wild, relies on his chaos and relies on landing a big shot. If we've learned anything from Marvin Vettori over the years, it's that the big shot does not affect Marvin Vettori. People say, knock on wood, all that he's got the best chin in the UFC, and not just currently, maybe in UFC history. I mean, you got to take a sledgehammer to this guy's jaw to knock him out. Doesn't seem to work, right? Marvin Vettori survives everything. One of the best chins we've ever seen, but he is also a more technical fighter. He's more experienced, especially at the high level of this sport. He's fought for a title. He's fought guys at the top for years now, And Marvin Vettori is that fight with Brendan Allen wasn't exciting for me. It wasn't the best Marvin Vettori we've seen, but he was going through a lot of family stuff with his brother passing away. I just think if we look at this fight on film and we look at it on paper statistically and all that stuff, Marvin Vettori is the more skilled fighter. I just don't see a guy the level of Bruno Ferreira chinning Marvin Vettori. I can't see it. So I'm going Marvin Vettori by decision. I think he survives a storm early and then outclasses Bruno in the rest of the fight, really in every aspect. We move on to another really interesting fight. I absolutely love the matchmaking in this one. We've got Nazim Sadikov, and he's taking on Fares Ziam. Fares Ziam, a guy that has flown under the radar for quite some time. He was seen as kind of boring, right? But then he got himself that finish versus Matt Frivola and a couple great wins for himself. And all of a sudden, people are starting to take notice of Fares Ziam. He is a tall, technical fighter, clean at range, clean at distance, too, in the clinch. He's awesome. He does a great job controlling range, but he can also be kind of low volume, right? And that's where that boring moniker came through, and he sometimes would let fights get away from him, but he's been on an absolute roll. He has taken on Nazim Sadikov, all aggression, guys. A stupidly aggressive fighter, throws with real intent, marches forward no matter what. He's going to make fights dirty. He's going to make them scrappy. He's going to make them ugly as hell. He closes the distance and he forces his opponents to work at a range they're generally not comfortable with. And we just saw he's durable in his last fight, and we also saw he has power in his last fight. Nazim Sadikov, another guy that's kind of flown under the radar. I think this fight can be an absolute banger. I'm going Nazim Sadikov here, man. Let me see the odds. I believe he's the underdog. Where's that at? Yeah, plus 120 on the UFC's thing. I want to say on DraftKings and elsewhere that's been widened a little bit. But yeah, give me Nazim Sadikov all day. I think his pressure, his activity is going to break Fares Ziam's rhythm, and he's just going to win the bigger moments. I love that fight. Moving on, we've got the first women's fight of the night. We've got the returning Macy Barber taking on Karine Silva. Of course, Macy Barber last time out, she pulled out of her fight, her main event against Erin Blanchfield minutes before, suffered a seizure, and she spent some time in the hospital then. She spent some time in the hospital before then. This is all post breast augmentation, right, as they're calling it, a boob job. She had a boob job, and she's been in the hospital. So her health has to be in question here. Tons of medical issues. But anyways, as for her fight style, she's a strong, physical, bully style fighter. She's really tightened up her clinch work. Her top pressure is great. Not the smoothest striker, but she is consistent. She's durable. She knows how to win minutes of rounds, especially late in rounds. And I love that for Maycee Barber. She's taken on Karine Silva, one of the most dangerous fighters you'll see in the division, right? She jumps on submissions very goddamn quick. She scrambles like a maniac on the ground. If she doesn't find her finishes early, though, she slows down noticeably, and then she's hittable. This fight is tough to pick, right? Because one part of me is saying we have a very dangerous fighter in Karine Silva, and then we have a girl in Maycee Barber who may be compromised with all these health issues. But on the other hand, I look at the film, and I just see Maycee Barber as the better fighter, right? So assuming Maycee Barber's healthy, I have to pick her here. I think she stays safe early. She grinds down on Silva, wins minutes in the clinch, wins minutes on the ground, and then wins the latter of the two rounds, rounds 2 and 3. So give me Maycee Barber by decision, split decision. Tough fight to call. Hope Maycee Barber's good and ready to go. We move on to what is a guaranteed banger. Shout out T-Rex, friend of the channel, Terrence McKinney. He is taking on Chris Duncan. We know the script with Terrence McKinney, right? It is first round or bust, essentially. He comes out. He's an absolute monster. He's one of the best fighters on the planet for 60 to 180 seconds. And then that quickly goes down the drain. He's explosive. He's fast. He's powerful. He can finish anyone in the planet in those first 2 or 3 minutes. But if you survive those 2 or 3 minutes, which is a tougher ask than it sounds like, his cardio and his defense will fall off drastically, and chances are that you are finishing Terrence McKinney. He's taking on Chris Duncan, a very durable, grinding type fighter. Eats shots like nobody's business. This guy gets damaged. He somehow survives. Then he finds a finish. This sounds tailor-made for Chris Duncan to win, right? Like he's tough as hell. He endures an ass beating all the time. And then he finds finishes. But Terrence McKinney's not like the rest of these dudes that have hurt Chris Duncan. Such a tough fight to pick, as is every Terrence McKinney fight in general. I just think T-Rex is the better fighter, guys. I mean, skill for skill, it's not close. He's the better striker. He's the better grappler. He has more power. Like, oh man, if Duncan survives those first 2-3 minutes, which I guarantee are going to be absolute hell for Chris Duncan, then I don't know. Terrence McKinney wins this fight. I'm going first round KO. You guys know the deal. If he doesn't finish it, it's Chris Duncan. We move on to the final prelim of the evening, guys, and we've got Grant Dawson taking on Manuel Torres. And Grant Dawson, unfortunately, known as one of the most boring fighters in the entire promotion. Pound for pound might be the most boring, and that sucks to say because I like Grant Dawson. But we've had a lot of bullshit come up lately about the Islam Makhachev performance versus Jack Della Maddalena. A lot of people said it was very boring. Same thing with Valentina and Wei Lee. Same thing with Hamzat and Dricus over at 319 in Chicago. And Grant Dawson might be the worst of all those guys, right? At least with Hamzat Chimaev, we know he is this absolute mauler, killing people, crushing them, destroying them in the first round. Islam Makhachev, pound for pound, the #1 fighter on the planet, very dangerous, has a ton of finishes on his resume. Valentina never fights like that. It's more of like a new thing that she's doing. Grant Dawson is that ×5. Grant Dawson is going to lay and pray. I mean, he is a super strong positional grappler, great top pressure, solid cardio to last him the 3 rounds. He's best when he can get those early takedowns. He chains them together well, but once he gets on top, my Lord, this guy is impossible to get off you. Absolute wet blanket. On the feet, he's serviceable at best. There's nothing really there. But his grappling is next level. He's taken on Manuel Torres, a very fast, explosive striker, real power, kind of a kill or be killed attitude, great kicks, great knees, super dangerous, super technical, great combos. His takedown defense and his ability to get up off of his back are still question marks, and I think we're going to find out answers to those question marks here. Grant Dawson is going to take down Manuel Torres. Let's see if he can get up. I doubt it. So I'm going with Grant Dawson. -205 seems about right. Free cheese. We move on to the main card, guys. The final pay-per-view ever. The final pay-per-view we will ever pay for with the UFC, at least for the next 7 or 8 years as we move into this Paramount deal and this subscription program. Anyways, we've got Jan Blachowicz. He is taking on Bogdan Guskov. Jan Blachowicz, the former champion, right? The far more complete fighter, better jab, better countering, better grappling, way more experience against elite guys in the world. Just maybe the power, Jan Blachowicz's power, legendary Polish power, right? It might be just as good as Guskov's. There's not really anything in Jan Blachowicz's game that you can hate on besides maybe the age, right? At this point, one day age is going to catch up with him. We'll see if it's here. He's fighting Bogdan Guskov, a guy that's explosive early, hits very goddamn hard, throws everything with intent, but he is still very raw, right? Big openings, overcommits to those big shots, and can be taken down, can be outpositioned on the ground. One thing to note here, though, there was a massive line flip in this. Jan Blachowicz was a big dog. Now he's a slight favorite. Money's coming in on Jan Blachowicz, right? So I think that's sharp money. I'm going Jan Blachowicz here by decision. I think the veteran IQ, the grappling, just the cleaner overall game is going to win him this fight. It would be one thing if we had seen Jan Blachowicz's chin kind of start to be cracked. We haven't seen that yet. So to me, I got to go Jan Blachowicz. They're showing minus 120 here. I love that. That's a great parlay piece. Give me legendary Polish power by decision. We move on. Next fight of the night, we've got Triple C, Henry Cejudo, the king of cringe, taking on Payton Talbott. Payton Talbott, a young, long, explosive, very slick, offensive young fighter. Throws in combinations, uses feints well, has a killer instinct. His weakness has been the defensive grappling, right? We saw that in the Raoni Barcelos fight. His toughness is real. His cardio is real. It's really that big question mark. And there's you can think of it this way. If Raoni Barcelos was able to take Payton Talbott down, why wouldn't Henry Cejudo be able to do it? The problem with that train of thought is Henry Cejudo has not been wrestling like that for some time. And I don't mean just training wrestling or doing his Olympic-style wrestling. I mean, in the cage, we haven't seen Henry Cejudo really utilize takedowns at all as a part of his game. It's kind of just been a kickboxing style. If that's the case and Henry Cejudo looks to just stand there and be a counter striker against Payton Talbott, I don't think that's a route to victory at all. I think if he does win this fight, it will be exposing Payton Talbott's ground game and the holes in that game again as well. But I got to go Payton Talbott. I love Henry Cejudo. I got a picture with him on Instagram. We're great friends with Captain Eric, but plus 230, it sounds about right, man. I mean, can he expose Payton Talbott? Absolutely. I just think Payton Talbott's going to be a little too much, so I'm going him by decision. We move on. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira, a very, very important fight for the division, guys. Number 1 versus number 5 in this one. Brandon Moreno, of course, a former champion, and they're giving Tatsuro Taira a huge opportunity here, especially with the title fight being later on in this card. Brandon Moreno, the experience, the durability, great scrambles, underrated boxing, tough as all hell, constantly moving forward, great pressure, one of the most well-rounded flyweights we've ever seen in the company. His pace and cardio hold up great, and this is a 3-rounder. I don't see any weaknesses here for Brandon Moreno. The age is not a question to me either. He's taken on Tatsuro Taira, a special prospect, guys. Slick grappling and the body control on the mat might be the best in the UFC. It is next level. If this guy gets you down, you are stuck there. He is taking your back, or he is taking whatever position he takes. You're stuck there. You're not going anywhere. Tatsuro Taira is scary. His striking's improving. We've seen him outstruck before. And if Brandon Moreno wins this fight, it's going to be there. But he has not faced anyone with Brandon Moreno's experience level here. I'm going Brandon Moreno, guys, by decision. I know that might seem crazy to a lot of people. He just has too much experience, guys. Too many looks at the top guys in the division. Tatsuro Taira has not been tested to this level yet. And I think this might be just a little bit too much, a little bit too soon. Brandon Moreno, now he's a minus 102. He was an underdog last time I checked. Give me El Bebe Asesino by decision. And finally, we get to the co-main event. One of 2 title fights here. Alexandre Pantoja, who we also have a picture with at the Ten7 MMA on Instagram. Go check that out. And he's taking on Josh Van. Alexandre Pantoja, a wild, scrambly, unpredictable, and insanely dangerous fighter in transitions. His back takes and finishing instincts are absolute top tier. He can slow down in wars, and we've seen him do that in the middle of fights, but it's not because he has bad cardio. I think it's very selective when Alexandre Pantoja does it. You'll see him look tired in a round 3, and it's like, dude, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, round 4 or round 5, he's back up there. Just such a smart fighter. He is absolutely deadly, and he knows how to use momentum in fights, guys. He's taken on Joshua Van, the darling of the UFC fan base, pretty much. Young kid came in here, skyrocketed to the top. He's a clean, sharp striker, fast hands. His defense is improving. He'll land, but he hasn't dealt with anyone that's going to drag him into this kind of war, right? We've seen him have trouble, of course, with Charles Johnson, friend of the channel. Shout out Energy. Maybe I'll try to get him on the live stream this week. We saw Energy knock him out. We've seen him struggle a little bit with grappling and not really in the striking realm. The problem with Josh Van for me in this fight, first of all, it's too much too soon, guys. He is far too young. He's 24 years old, and he is facing a generational talent in Alexandre Pantoja. But besides that, he doesn't have one-shot knockout power. I know that Alexandre Pantoja just fought a guy that did have that in Kai Kara France, and that didn't matter. But really, that's the way you're going to beat Alexandre Pantoja at this point if you're Josh Van, is by catching him and clipping him. But Josh Van is not a one-shot knockout kind of guy. His knockouts are going to come in the TKO fashion, right? They're going to be a lot of volume building up. And even if somehow he is beating Alexandre Pantoja on the feet, I don't imagine that Pantoja doesn't have a remedy for that. Like if he's losing on the feet, which again, I don't see happening, he's going to get his takedowns. There's nothing Josh Van's going to be able to do about it. Let's be real, man. He's fun. He's an exciting fighter. He's just not Alexandre Pantoja at this point in his career. He'll be back in a couple of years. Give me Alexandre Pantoja, round 3, RNC. I think he takes the back after maybe dropping Josh Van and, chokes him out unconscious. Give me Pantoja. And finally, guys, we move on to the main event, the rematch. The champion, the machine, Merab Dvalishvili, going for his 4th title defense this year, which would break the UFC record against Petr Yan here. And again, this is a rematch. The first fight a couple years back, Merab 50-45 Petr Yan. Absolute masterclass. That was the moment that a lot of people came around on Merab and figured out that, hey, this guy is actually legit. We might hate him. We might hate his fight style, but this guy's legitimate as hell. Who the fuck does that to Petr Yan? Was literally what I got up yelling because I love Merab. I actually predicted that Merab would win that fight. I actually went out there on a limb and said that he would, on a whim. I went out on a whim and said he would do that. I've been calling Merab a champion for years before that. I knew he would be a future champ. And here he is as the champ, but let's talk about it. Endless cardio, guys. Unbelievable cardio. I've mentioned the unbelievable pressure, which I think is the most underrated part of Merab's game. The cardio is amazing. It's the best ever. But the pressure is what wins Merab fights. He knows how to march forward. He knows how to get guys backing up, which is more tiring than fighting forward or standing still. And he's just got suffocating chain wrestling, the most suffocating wrestling in the division. He breaks rhythm, he breaks structure, he breaks stamina, and he breaks people down. That is the recipe of Merab Dvalishvili. He's taken on Petr Yan, still at this point in his career, even though he's the younger fighter of the two. Still one of the sharpest boxers in the division, a very dangerous striker, elite counters, elite defense, but he struggles against people that can put a pace on him. And we saw that with Merab getting 50-45. Petr Yan's best in 5-round fights when he's able to lose the first round or the second round, download the data, and then implement that game plan in rounds 3, 4, and 5. You know who doesn't allow you to do that? Merab Dvalishvili, the guy that's constantly fucking pushing you, not allowing you to absorb any data, not allowing you to change anything in your game plan. The pressure is going to be too much, guys. Merab Dvalishvili by decision. Jan's going to have some moments maybe early in this fight, but the pressure and the wrestling volume is going to win the rounds for Merab. Merab breaks the title defense record in the year. We get 4, and then who knows what happens next year. We move on with Merab's legendary title reign. And that is it, guys. That is UFC 323, the Quickie. Gave you our picks. We are number 1 in the Creator Challenge. Go follow us on Instagram. Support us there. But more importantly, do like the thing at the bottom says. Like and subscribe. We are trying to get to 2,000. We have the most accurate picks. We do this shit for free. We have one more card after this, and then the year's over. We don't got fights for 6 weeks. Me and DS, of course, will do our awards, our end-of-year awards, which I know a lot of you guys love. That's going to be a fun-ass episode. But yeah, guys, hook your boys up, like and subscribe, do all that good shit. Merab Dvalishvili and still Alexandre Pantoja and still. Don't let anybody fucking convince you otherwise. This is Dino Bam Man. This was the Ten7 MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.